Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Oh my gosh, Lady Journey. Here we are. We're so excited, everyone, because we have a new amazing producer, Lex.
Thank you, Lex.
Thank you for being here. We are so excited.
I was thinking, like, oh my God, is it going to be a different vibe to have a third party in the room while we chit chat? Because like beforehand, it just was.
It was just us going off, and actually nothing's changed, and we've said heinous things already. And Lex has not judged us, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, and the rule is to delete raw files after we've uploaded to YouTube.
Yes, and never speak of this. What it stays within the journey.
Yes, what happens here stays here.
I'm so happy to be here. As everyone knows, I'm now in therapy, and I have been having vicious anxiety, which I thought was just getting scared. I thought I just got scared at night.
Yeah, I thought, and then it's fascinating that you found out that it's not depression, but you're like, why isn't it depression if it feels like depression?
Yeah, well, I was just getting depressed when I ran out of energy from worrying.
Yeah,
that's what was happening. So I've turned a new corner. It's springtime. It's a new me. I'm reinventing myself. Now I've been parting my hair on the side again. So here I am. Here I am. I reinvented myself to my old self.
I love, changing a part. Sometimes if you're like, there's a thought in A, it's like, if you're like depressed or having bad thoughts, it's like change a thought, move a muscle. But I like the idea, or change your part.
Change your part, change your life. Yeah. Well, I had fully committed to the middle part because I did not want people to think I was being chuggy.
Yes, but I have a fear, not a fear, but I feel like these things are going to come back because they're always cyclical.
Yes.
And they don't, now trends cycle are only like 5 months.
Yes, it's true. And so side parts are back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
and
middle parts
jeans.
are chuggy.
And people are going back to indie sleeves again.
Yes, everything. Yes, it's right. It's what I was learning for the upcoming episode, which I'm very excited about, the fast fashion episode, is there used to be 4 seasons and now there are 52.
Yeah.
So just wait a couple weeks and then put your skinny jeans back on. Because it's madness out there and it's all going into the ocean. Yeah. So tune in for the fast fashion episode.
The beach of Chile.
Yes, yeah. They love it. They love it.
We always wonder, because it also washes up on the shore of like Africa, where it probably was originally made, that you wonder if some of the employee or workers are like, I remember making this top.
Yeah.
It was last year.
Yeah. It was 4 months ago. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Lady Journey. I am so thrilled to be doing this latest batch of episodes because not only do we have a big number of new Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys have been making so many things possible for us. Now we can outsource the technology.
Yeah.
So now we won't be screwing it up as we have been.
Or putting it together really fast midnight of.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will now be providing a more seamless technological experience. So thank you. And also we have an incredible person, Jacob Downey. Please check out his YouTube, youtube.com/Jacob E. Downey. He is a stone expert and he has provided us with a generous donation of mystical and magical stones for our upcoming Patreon dedications. And I love him. I really enjoy his channel and I have subscribed to it. So check it out, Jacob Downey, and his YouTube is Jacob E. Downey. So this first stone is, whoopsie, okay,
broken.
And it is broken. This is a ruby. How incredible is this? It's a flat ruby. Gorgeous.
Isn't that crazy? I really got in on TikTok. I got into Tumblr,
tumblers. Rock tumbling. It's so relaxing.
I was relaxing. Like, it's been in there for 8 weeks. I'm so excited.
What's it doing in there? I feel like that's what I'm trying to do with my life.
Yeah.
I'm just
rock tumbling
myself. It's a ruby. This one is going out for Jason. Jason, this ruby, how precious, is dedicated to you. This is for improved energy, concentration, creativity, honor, and loyalty. So get out there and write that screenplay, Jason. This is your weekend. And next up, now look at this. This is a sapphire. How incredible is this? It's a raw sapphire.
It looks so basic.
It's
like,
so basic.
I would not even pick this up on the street.
Yeah, if you saw this as a pebble, you'd be like, whatever. But actually, it's a rare gemstone. And that's actually kind of what Lady Journey is. We are a diamond in the rough of the podcasting world.
Yes.
And that's why, and this is an analogy for us. This is going out to Lisa. Lisa, welcome aboard the journey. Thank you so much for coming on. This is for calming the mind, mental clarity, and it dispels depression. And it's clearly worked for me because now I know that I just have anxiety.
Yes.
I only get depressed when my anxiety is exhausting me.
Yes.
So welcome, Jason and Lisa. Those are our Patreon dedications for the day. And I'm really excited about, we have been on a journey together, a secret journey.
It's very, very secret journey. It started almost a year ago. Actually, it started 3 years ago in the beginning of pandemic.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not on board then.
No, you weren't on board.
That was before my time.
Kept a secret. I guess I'll just say the announcement and then I'll get to it because then you just start telling the story and they're like, wait, is she?
Yeah. What is she talking about? Yeah.
So I'm pregnant. Joe and I are going to have a baby.
Yes.
Yes. And so I'm out of the first trimester. I'm 16 weeks and 2 days. I just went to the ultrasound this morning and he's huge.
He's better than ever.
He's in the 91 percentile.
Oh.
He's got all of his parts and he's growing right on cue.
Now, what size of fruit is he now?
He's an
That's
avocado.
my only frame of reference. He's already an avocado?
He's an avocado, so he's
Oh my
6 to
God.
8 ounces. They said he's running a little long.
Oh,
I know.
long boy.
But I was like, Joe is a loomster, which is the long fry in a fry pack.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. I think it's just a regional thing. So yes, we
so excited.
finally, yes, it happened. Joe changed his mind about kids the beginning of pandemic. I think because of Gary Veter's baby.
Oh my God, his baby is so cute, and
Yes.
I will not say the baby's name to protect his identity. But
Exactly.
I saw the Mother's Day photo that they posted, and he
Adorable.
is so chunkalicious. I can't stop. That actually might have brought me wanting to have kids because I cannot describe how cute that baby is.
I
And he
know.
looks naughty too. Like he's just running around being
Mischievous.
naughty. Yeah, mischievous. Exactly.
Well, yes, he's got that. I
He
want
has
to describe him, but you also that would be the same as giving his name as well, kind of.
I will say this. He is a redhead and I cannot stop with it.
The rarest.
Oh my God, the cutest. It's
So
like a little leprechaun.
I know.
Just running around doing nonsense.
And this height probably.
Oh, St. Patty's.
Yeah, so we
So-
started in pandemic and then I was under the notion I'm so stupid when it comes to this stuff because you're like, I hear women get pregnant all the time in their 40s.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize it's because they've had a lot of help and sometimes it's just luck. It's just luck.
Yeah, it's so complicated with fertility because, really the right time for your body to be having kids is like 16 and pregnant. And that's our society is like, that's wrong. Like women need to have a life,
I know, but it is true. I think Nate Bargatze had a joke about that, like, and other people, like, it is really the best time to have a kid. It's not like you want to promote teen pregnancy, but like the parents have to automatically help.
Yeah, yes.
You are getting raised by a village when you're a teen mom, and then your body bounces back. And then by the time you're like 36,
You have your GED.
Yeah.
And you're good.
and you can now live your life again at 36.
Yes.
So we're on the old side. So that's why it took a while. So I went through 2 miscarriages. We had 1 miscarriage, and then that took a year to get pregnant, and then it was a miscarriage, which I knew that was expected, to be honest. Like it's so weird. It doesn't feel like it happens a lot, but everyone you talk to seems to be, they have miscarriages.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's more common now because of like environmental factors like BPA, or it's just like now it's not like you're shamed for speaking up about the fact that you went through something horrific.
Yeah. And I knew, so the first time I got pregnant, so it took a year to get to that almost. And I didn't attach myself because I was just like, there is a high probability this might not make it. And it didn't. And it's still a bummer. And then so I was like, you know what, being all that it took me a year and now I'm approaching, I think 42 or 43. Let's look into fertility and see what our options were. And so we just decided I joke about this, but so the one option was use my own eggs and harvest them and see if we could get a batch out of that. But we were told to have a child be born with something like a 6% chance.
Oh, that's bad odds.
And it was something like $60,000, or we could do an egg donor, which is about half as much as that. And you get a 60% chance. And I was like, well, it's just better business.
It's better business. Yeah.
It is. I was like, that's just such a high risk. And I just decided that, like, I don't think DNA dictates whether you like something more or not. You know what I mean?
No.
Because like people love their pets just as much as they love babies. And
Yeah.
I know there'll probably be some people that were like, it's not the same. And I'm like, no, I totally get it. But I think the love can be the same.
100%. When I was teaching preschool, I would have taken a bullet for any of my little cute students. I really loved them with an intense maternal love.
Yeah.
Probably too much. Their parents are like, can you stop hugging our child?
Calling
I'm
them.
like, I love him. Yeah. I love you. The last day that I taught preschool, before I left to, really go hard with stand-up, I took a video of all my students. I made them say, I love you, Miss Katie. And it's like, that
do
was
you still
probably,
have it?
I do have it. It's probably unprofessional of me to do that, but they're sweet. I always did feel like that. I felt like, who knows what will happen on my different journey, but I think that maternal love is definitely not biological.
Yes.
These children are so special and beautiful.
Yeah. And it's, you all like being all that I get to have the baby grow inside me. I feel like then you have a bond, but I know that doesn't even dictate love.
Yeah.
I mean, how many you just hear all these stories about mom. It's so crazy. Like moms can just give birth and just walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's wild.
I know. I think it's also like, well, you were saying, because you were having some morning sickness and you were like, I can't believe like how little people like recognize this as a thing. And I think it's the entire experience of pregnancy and motherhood is like kind of enshrouded in women being like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, I kept thinking like that you're never supposed to talk about your pregnancy in the first trimester because of superstition. I guess mainly on the fact that there is a high chance of it not making it go full term.
And then you'll see somebody like a year later and they're like, hey, how's the baby? And you're like, I can't talk right now.
Yeah, you're like, you monster. But I also was like, I think it's because they also don't want to hear us complain about it because it's just awful.
Yeah.
I was so glad that I didn't have to do a 9 to 5 during this.
Oh my God.
I had
yeah.
to go take breaks all the time, and I didn't have throw up, but I was just always on the verge of barfing, and it made me, so I had to just do the bare minimum. Yeah, so had to do that. I'm just trying to think where we are in the story of it all.
In the journey. Oh, take it back to whatever part you want. I do not want to skip around. But I know a couple times when you were feeling ill, like I came down for Lady Journey. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You're like, bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to do anything. And it wasn't just food. There were some projects I was working on that I got right when I got morning sickness I affiliate this person.
You have an association of sickness. You've made me ill, sir.
I was like, oh my God, this is so unfair to this comic that I'm helping out right now. But I'm like, I can't because I just attribute you to my morning sickness.
That's hilarious.
I will get back on track. I had this with pizza in my youth. I threw up from pizza and I was like, will never eat pizza again. And I came to. So it's just a thing. Oh, what I was going to say is like, so I do think I was kind of weirded out about like the egg donor thing because they said it was quite normal. I was really upset that I didn't get to have my DNA in there only out of ego.
Right.
Because you want to see the science experiment of it or like what the nature is with nurture. And I was like intrigued about that. So, but I felt better when you have to go talk to like a therapist that walks you through like egg donor and also prepares you for like when the child gets to a certain age of transparency, like how to break the news and all that stuff. And she made me feel better of like, you have every right to mourn the loss of yourself in this.
Oh, totally. That's really nice to just normalize grieving.
Yeah. Well, because I have to say, it's really unfair how biologically advantage, I guess, in that department men have. Like
Yeah.
they can, like Robert De Niro is fathering a child at 70.
Yeah. Although that baby was with a surrogate, I will say. So
Oh, was
science
it?
was involved in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still.
Which it's also like, I mean, let it go at that point. Like, don't get science involved.
He's like, peace out.
I
Like,
know.
he's not going to have, I don't know. People can live to 100. And that was the thing, too, is like, I'm old as well. And Joe and I are like, oh my God, what are we doing? But then
Yeah.
I'm like, men have babies all the time in their 60s. And I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever.
And it's New York. Everybody, when you go to the clinic, you're just like amazed how many people in New York are just there. I saw
Yeah.
so many comics.
Really? It's hilarious. Well, I know New York is such a city where it's like career first. And then you're like, I've run out of time.
Shit, I didn't know. Well, your fertility does drop off a lot. And then after 40, every year, that's why I was like, I just didn't want to take a chance with my own eggs. I was like,
Yeah.
we could spend $60,000 and I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
And nothing's
Yeah.
happening. So, and this was our last, we were like, if nothing happens with this, then this is it.
Closure.
And that's the also awesome side about the kid journey. You're like, it's awesome if you can have it, but like, if it doesn't happen, you're like, well, I think I could get used to the other side of it.
Yeah. I'll just have iced coffee every day, and not be putting that money towards their college. Yeah.
Oh, you mean I get to travel all the time now?
Yeah. Well, it is nice to hear different perspectives now from people who have kids and people who don't have kids, just like opening up about it. Now it feels like for, our generations more than ever before about like, you don't need to feel like you're childless, as in you're like missing part of your life because things didn't either work out the way you wanted or you just went in a different path,
Yeah, I don't, I think some people shame people for not having kids as if like you don't understand the meaning of life. And I just think that's just like, you're a fucking
true.
psycho.
It's true. People love to say that like, you'll never know love. It's like, well, I mean, I do love people in my life actually. And
I think I can grasp the concept. Like,
yeah.
Like, fuck you with that. Just seems like elitism in some kind of weird way.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
even know if that's the right terminology, but it
it's
feels
some kind
the same.
of blind spot to
Self-righteousness.
insist that that people are less than because of whatever choice that they made, if it's kids or anything else, But yeah, I think it is elitism. It's the potpourri.
Yeah.
Call back to our candle episode.
It is. And then, so yeah, I got pregnant in the middle, like right when we started the IVF journey. So then that's why it took a little bit longer. And then I guess every time you have a miscarriage, because it creates scar tissue. And so I had to keep getting hysteroscopies. I never know how to say that.
I think that's right.
To where they
sounds painful.
scrape it so I
Oh.
can get, that's because they don't want the egg to land on the scar tissue because it doesn't get the nutrients that
yeah.
it needs. And so they just wanted to make sure my uterus was really smooth.
I love that. What a great flex. My uterus is so smooth.
But I have to say, like, I really enjoyed going under because
oh, you got a little, what's that called? A little
free lapse.
A free lapse, yes.
Free lapse.
Yes.
And when I came to, also, I'm like, I really like who I am when you're going under. You're like, I'm like the life of the party when I have a little bit of anesthesia going through me. Because it's so weird because they're like, okay, count back. And then the next thing you realize you're waking up and you have no idea how much time has gone. And
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
it's the funkiest feeling.
Am I Michael Jackson right now?
Exactly. We'll do like several segments on it. We'll do like the IVF part of
Yes.
it, the maternity wear. I'll also talk about like the healthcare system because I went to first I went to this OBGYN clinic in Astoria, and I have to tell you, I will never do anything medical that's not in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah. That was the clinic that I went to when someone came in when I was getting my pap smear, and someone came into the room and left the door open, and it opened into the waiting room. And I was like, what's going on? Yeah, it was. I remember that one because when I went there, I noticed that the bathroom was in the, not like the hallway of the office. It's like an apartment building. It was like the bathroom where you go pee in the cup was in the hallway of the building.
Yes.
And you're like, this doesn't
With
feel
residents?
remotely medical.
No.
And I know a comic that lives in that building, and I had been to her apartment before.
Yeah, it was so I called it the DMV of gynecology. Like, I never met, I forgot, I won't name because I should throw this business under the bus.
I'll just leave a review.
It was under the name of this doctor, but you never got to meet her.
The doctor's not there. Yeah, no.
No, and it was just bad. It was also during a little bit of coming outside of the pandemic, so like I just had to go there by myself. But I'll talk about that later.
This is just an overview journey
And just like the announcement. But like, yes, he's very healthy. He's 16 weeks. It's a boy. I knew it was a boy. They tell you the sex when the embryo is 5 days old. So I knew right when he was implanted. And it was just like the process of it too was really weird because you just go into a room and it's just like 5 people in the room while you're just getting pregnant. Like, it was kind of like a fun date rape.
Just bizarro futurism where it's like when a man and a woman love each other very much, when a man and a woman and a team decide it's the right moment in her career.
And an iPad, they're just like showing you as it like implants in, and it was like you couldn't feel anything, and then I just went about my day.
Wow.
Yeah, which I guess is what happens anyway, the natural way. But it was just, it was bizarro. And then now we finally told mostly everybody.
That's
and then
so
I'm slowly
exciting.
talking about it on stage because now I can do bits. Because it sucked beforehand. I was like, I need new jokes, but I can't get to them.
Yeah, and it was also very hard for me because I'm terrible at keeping secrets.
Well, I was too, because I'm sure Joe won't see this, but he's like, I told a few people, and then he'd be like, I don't understand how this guy knew. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. Like, that's crazy.
How's this getting out?
There must be a breach in here.
Yeah,
a mole in the apartment.
Yes. That's so hilarious. Well, you always can sometimes. I find I have a sense for it with girlfriends, not in the first trimester, certainly, but like second trimester, you know, just before the announcement, you always get a sense when your friend is like, I got to get home and make my mom's tuna casserole.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
And then a light goes off like, oh,
yeah.
That's the only reason I could eat cooked canned tuna.
Well, fortunately, since I don't drink, there was never the tell sign.
Yes.
Of like, oh, why isn't she drinking? There were moments like it was happening. I had to go in for 2 tries because they couldn't get my uteral lining thick enough.
So awkward.
Embarrassing. Because it was so thin. And but it happened. It kept the timing of it all was happening around Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
The big 3.
The big 3. So there would be like for Thanksgiving, I'd be like, I have to go now.
Yeah.
I have work
on
Thanksgiving Day. I'm doing we said I had a web series. Who's still doing web series? Like I have to leave to not get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I miss
just hustling.
And you never know when a break's happening at 42. And then I didn't go to a wedding, and then I went. It was Mark, Norman, and May's wedding, and that felt weird because I was like, we were just saying that I was sick, but then I went to Ashley's show in Brooklyn, and I remember Joy was like, isn't she supposed to be at Mark's wedding?
Oh my God.
Like, whoops.
I'm sick of Mark and May and their love. I know it is funny because we had a couple bits like that as well, where you had to cancel last minute because, you know, different things were coming up, and then the onus was on me to navigate a lie. Yeah, and
she has AIDS.
Yeah. Well, I'd be like, well, Sarah's sick, and people were like, oh my God. Like,
yeah,
is
she's
it
been
COVID?
calling out a lot.
Yeah. You just were sick multiple times, and I was just like,
it makes me feel
something's wrong.
Like the little boy from The Secret Garden. Just like
she
pale
has
and white.
Yeah. She's an invalid now.
I know. It just seemed it felt lame, but you can't. I just didn't want to lay burden on anyone of like the drama of it, and then them asking millions of questions, and then if it doesn't work, it was just so it's just like weird that you have to be kind of secretive about it.
Yeah, well, you do also, when you have that type of priority, it's like you can't just be like fucking around when something that huge is at stake. Like, well, I guess I'll have a glass of wine. Like, I'll fall down the stairs. Like, you just have to be really careful because it's like a hugely important time. And I think it is actually funny though, because like back in the day, I do feel like I was saying this, like thinking of it as a joke, because like back in the day, women, it was always like introverted women just like, I can't go out, I have the vapors again. And it was like, she's just a shut in, and that's the way women are.
Yeah. Well, I had to cancel some spots because like you would just get really tired, so I had to tell the booker Fawn.
Oh yes.
And I was like, please don't tell anybody else. Like you have to lay. But then I'm like, sure, and I don't think people keep anything a secret. It's always
really
like,
hard.
Don't tell anyone, or don't say it's from me is what I say.
Yeah, I'm like, spread it around.
Like they all know, but everyone's just quiet about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what people should do.
Yeah.
People should know, but they should shut the fuck up about your business. Keeping a secret is so hard. I've rarely been able to do it in my life. Even like if I get a gift for Mike or something, I'm always like, it's a coat. I think you're going to love it. I just don't know what it is about me. I just, you can't control your thoughts. That's what I've learned in therapy.
Well, I think our lives generally are just mundane, and I just fucking enjoy a fucking secret.
A juicy little meaty secret.
I've kept a few.
Yeah.
And then, but I really want to tell them, but they're just like life ruining.
I know. The only secrets I keep are like ones that would like put me over the edge, and people are like, what? I'm like, can you believe it?
I know.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell secrets about myself sometimes.
Oh, a little juicy drip.
Yeah. If there's nothing going on, I'll just blurt it out. Guess who sucked their thumb till middle school?
Oh my God, I did too. I sucked until fourth grade.
Yeah.
I sucked it to the point that it was like, you will have buck teeth.
Oh, my trick was this. Every time I go to sleep at night, I would put my under teeth under like this to bring them back. But then sometimes you're like, well, now I have Keira Knightley mouth.
Amateur orthodontry.
I would have it where my mom would pick me up from middle school, and then as soon as I got in the back seat, I would like roll down and then suck in the back. I'd be like, oh my God. And then as soon as I started smoking cigarettes, went out the door.
Oh, you're good.
I switched.
That's great.
To hundreds.
Yeah. But I'm so excited. I'm really excited for the pregnancy journey, because we're definitely going to be having some different people on the podcast that we've had before. Some moms who are also creatives to give advice. And we're also going to get to do all of the fun things of like baby shower.
Yes.
Like
I already bought some baby clothes.
What'd you get?
Just onesies. Everyone's always like
onesies.
You're
so cute.
It's like you think that you're gonna take your kid to all these formal events, like
the baby tuxedo,
a seersucker for the spring,
for the infant,
like because we were on the Upper East. It's all high end baby clothes store, and you're just like, yeah, this is cute, but like honestly, why would I have my kid in an Easter outfit all year round?
Yeah, like their bodies need to breathe.
Yeah,
they're in like a little form-fitting suit, and they can't like bend their little chubby arms.
I just want to put them. I think I'm just putting them in onesies that have the drawstring on, because everyone's like, you got to get to that diaper fast.
Yeah. Share your due date.
Oh, my due date is, they said. This is really confusing, and I'll talk about this more too. It's October 30th, and that's when they said, but every time we go in, they're like October 29th, and they're like, well, technically it is the 30th, but the 29th. There's some weird shit in the pregnancy world. They're like, it's actually not 9 months, but it's 10.
Really?
Or something weird like that. There are so many things, like also in the beginning of pregnancy, if you're just going online to be like, what if there's spotting? Sometimes I got spotting with, it's called implanting. When it implants, you'll spot. And it's like, oh, that's a good sign you're pregnant. But also, it could mean you're having a miscarriage. And you're like, well, what is that? I don't know where I'm at.
Oh my God. God help us. I know. This is what I'm saying. It's like there is so much like mystique, like enshrouding pregnancy, where it's like you get pregnant and then you kind of just don't talk about it publicly. And then you just like let other women be tricked into like having morning sickness. And you're like, gotcha.
Yeah, it sucks. Because I kept saying that to some of my friends that were pregnant, and not one of them were like, oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's a mess.
But I read that morning sickness is actually a really good sign that your hormones are kicking in and doing what they need to do.
Yeah, it's
so
just
that's
that,
good.
what is it? I think it's the HGC. You're just like pumped with so much of it that your body, I guess it's too much. Because that was when the first 2 miscarriages, I didn't have any morning sickness. That's how I kind of knew something. I wasn't kind of like thinking that this was going to come out. So when I, got the news about them, I wasn't super devastated. You're just like bummed.
Yeah.
Because like you want to talk about that too, but it's like miscarriages in a conversation. Like,
yeah, talk about
the vibe.
Another miscarriage. Now the hang is ruined.
Because I think people want to feel sorry, and you're like, you don't have to, because I just think it's just part of the process.
Yeah.
It's just more, you're just like, oh, I really put hope into this, but I didn't actually put that much hope into it. But that's what led me to believe that that's why they weren't taken. But then the doctor's like, that doesn't mean anything.
Oh.
My mom didn't get morning sickness.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But then I also feel like everything was great with her.
Or also maybe she's just like British and she just like pushed it down.
Yeah,
she was like,
she did not know she was
fine.
sick. I was
Keep
just
calm
always sick.
And carry on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is interesting. I've heard a couple other comics, like Amy Schumer. I think she was like pretty open about that she had really bad.
She had, what is it called?
Sickness.
Hyperemesis. It's got a name to it. And she was throwing up throughout her whole pregnancy. And I don't even know how I think she even brought a trash can up on stage with her for her special.
Wow.
She was just barfing all the way up to the last moment.
Well,
that's devastating. Because I was like, I didn't even have that, and it was always manageable, but it's just not a way that I want to live my life. And then you get all the symptoms. Like I got constipation, you get gingivitis.
Whoa,
It flares up your gums, so you have to be really careful of flossing and making sure you're on top of your hygiene.
Wow.
Also, it slows down your digestion, so every time I would eat, I would feel so uncomfortably full and bloated.
Wow.
So not only just like morning sickness, I was just like uncomfortable. I just felt ugly for 3 months straight. Like I couldn't. And also at that time, like I didn't get my hair cut. I just felt like I was letting myself go.
Yeah. You're just kind of like rolling around in the basement down here.
Just wearing sweatpants and having a Pentecostal hairdo. Which I finally took care of last week.
Yeah,
and
your hair looks great. Your highlights are gorgeous.
And now we're both short hair. I didn't mean to go that short, but she was like, I don't want to give you too many layers because it's the summer. But I'm like, but I like that.
Yes.
So she did her own thing. I love when hairdressers are like, I'm just going to do my own thing. And you're like,
I know. They're like, you
look like
trust
them.
Me. Yeah.
You're like, I have your haircut now.
Yes.
I went to her because she's like right down the block, but I will say getting your hair cut, that was also a game changer.
Oh, my God.
Feeling better.
Yes. And you have to make time for that, too, especially now that you're a mom,
Yes. And the other thing, too, is like, I don't know when to show the baby bump because all I see right now is that I'm just bloated.
Yes.
And some girls, like I'm looking at Rosebud's baby bump. I'm like, what?
She has a very defined bump. I saw the photo. I was like, okay. But I did see your baby bump when we went for our picnic 2 weeks ago. And I said, I think it looks there.
I think it looks but it felt
there.
Like gas.
I know. I feel like anytime I eat pasta, I'm like, I have a bad baby bump right now.
And then I'm like, why is my baby bump like on the upper? And then I'm like, I think I'm just getting fat.
Yeah.
And it's not showing.
Too.
That we talked about that too. Like, I don't want to take what I think is a baby bump, and then I'm just showing people my fupa. They're like, Sarah,
life begins
in the front upper pussy area. So I was like, I think the girls that show their baby bump are naturally skinny or like always had good abs. And then that's another thing, you go online to look at baby bumps and you've got women at the same weeks that you're at look like they're 9 months pregnant, or then you've got CrossFit bitches that aren't just full on abs.
Yeah. It's totally a range of what people have.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to do nude pregnancy photos? Because I think you should. Casey Balsham, our
Hers
friends.
looks so good, but I just don't think mine will come out that night.
I don't think mine will either. I mean, you can go to her Instagram. It's Casey Balsham is her name, but she's a comedian. Hopefully we'll get to have her on after. Her baby is an infant now, but we adore her, and she has she's an incredible work. Big, beautiful one-woman show about her fertility journey, and we adore her. But she kind of was like doing, gorgeous pregnancy photos, and then just decided, of course, like last moment, to go nude. This is what I gathered from her description.
Yeah.
And they are so stunning.
They're great.
But I'm like, I do not want to see mine that I'm like rolling on the floor, that I look like a clown.
Yeah, what my brother and my sister-in-law, they did pregnancy photos in the field where my brother's holding her bump, and my sister and I rag on them so hard. We bring them out every year in a text thread.
There's something, the
I'm not doing that.
The pregnancy photo is like, it's like the evolution of like the engagement photo, which is the evolution of the senior photo.
It's the emasculating of men in a weird way. You're like, I just want my guy to put on a linen shirt and hang out in Pussy Willows.
Yes,
or something
pretend
weird.
that we're here organically having a tea party, because this is something that we always do. We always go to the field once a year. He makes a beautiful scone assortment.
So stupid, but if you're doing that, that's great, and I love it.
I love it for you. Well, I had found some really hilarious engagement photos.
I
I
should
can't
find some of these later.
Yeah, some funny pregnancy photos or something. But I had found some that they're just so funny because they're like, so it's such a pose, like we're eating pizza. You know? It's like, come on, you guys aren't feeding each other pizza. That's a red flag that the relationship's in trouble and it's toxic.
Yeah, I think sometimes all of that, you're like, who's this for?
Right.
And I think it's you're putting on a show rather than like actually enjoying each other's company. I also find like sometimes birth announcements to be so eye rolling. It's like a puzzle you have to figure out, and you put all this emotional labor on your family to be like, huh? And they're like, I don't get it. And you're like, oh, well, we're having a baby. Fuck you. Yeah.
I do that. I remember the episode of Full House when Becky tells Jesse that she's pregnant, but she cooks him this meal and it's all baby foods.
Yeah.
But he can't wrap his mind around it. She's like, don't you like the baby corn on the cob? And he's like, yeah, it's great, I guess. She's like, how about the baby Brussels sprouts? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever this, because they're not in that mindset. They don't know they have to solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I love that you already know the sex of the baby, but also doing a gender reveal party. That would be hilarious.
That's also atrocious too.
Yeah.
All of baby culture, but I guess we can also like that'll just be like another topic. I'm
for sure.
If you guys probably know a bunch of other stuff to talk about with baby stuff, I would love to hear, because I bet you so much of it's so eye rolling.
Oh my gosh, but I love it though.
Like,
I'm gonna throw you a baby shower.
I would love that. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm nominating myself live on air. Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely gonna do it, and I already have. I've already been planning in my mind, but I won't tell any secrets until later when I feel like I need to tell you something.
And if it gets too stressful for you, you can back out at the last minute.
I'll get depression. Sorry, Sarah, I'm depressed. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. We have so much fun stuff to look forward to. So everybody make sure you like and subscribe down here on our YouTube.
Yes, and then if you have any questions, also just a heads up, I probably am not going to release the name of the kid.
No, I don't think you should. I think you should keep it because you don't want people to comment on it.
No, and I also, my theory is like, I think it's really weird when I went into a school of graduating of 900 kids in my senior class. And then with the years of being on Facebook, I just remember I had a friend that I barely knew, but I knew her over the years. I follow her and her progression of her family. She had 2 boys. I see them. They obviously came back to Kingwood to visit. I see them riding their bikes on the green belts, and I'm like, it is so fucking weird that I know their names and they don't even know who I am.
Yes, wild.
That I
Absolutely
could have
wild.
totally kidnapped them.
Just roll
And
up next to them. Hey, hi, Todd. And also, you know, unfortunately, you are perpetuating the patriarchy by having a man
That is
baby.
true. But I have a theory. My theory is that a lot of moms create misogyny.
Oh, interesting.
Well, because that's usually who the mom and the child are usually. Like when you go to therapy, sometimes my therapist, I'm like, what is it, my mom?
Yeah.
It's like, is that what they teach you in therapy school? Of just say it's the mom.
Yeah, just say it's their mom. They can't do anything because it was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of pressure, that intimate. I mean, we just had Mother's Day, you know, so it's like, I do think the role of the mother is, I mean, you'll never be able to do it in a way that's perfect. Like,
no.
And you have to surrender.
And I'm not into like boy mom, girl dad.
Yeah.
I also think that is in a weird way perpetuates this weird like as if like I didn't know what it was like until I had
the gender identification
sex thing. Also, like when people are like, it's so different when you raise a boy. Like I was talking to my mom and I'm like, I think that's just like people's weird projection that they put on where you're like, I don't think it needs to be that different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's so many different things. It's like, who's to say what's actually happening in reality and what's going on in your own mind.
Yeah.
But I love Gina Brion. We should get her on. She's such a fantastic comic, and she's a boy mom, but she's got some incredible material about how she's like now getting pressure from friends like, you know, you need to start him as a feminist.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I teach him the alphabet? Can we start with the alphabet?
I know you're like, maybe not teaching them about the patriarchy will be like they won't do the patriarchy thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think weirdly you instill these, it's kind of like, I always think of Sarah Silverman's joke of like, telling girls you can be anything you want when you never like, say that to boys. So it's like this weird thing. It's almost like when you're like going to the shower and your friend's like, I will not read your diary. And you're like, well, why are you saying that?
Nothing bad's gonna happen to you in there. And you're like, what? That's hilarious. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, just people are bonkers, and I just don't want them that into personal life kind of stuff.
Absolutely not.
I like, we have peers that have kids, and I know it seems like we think we're celebrities, but I will definitely putting emojis over faces. But I will do a very private Instagram account.
Oh yeah, for friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I like on Instagram now you can do the close friends. But yeah, I love comedian Abby Crutchfield.
Yes.
She does emojis over her child's face. And I'm like, do not say the name. Don't say the name. Don't blow up the baby's name secretly.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. It's very tasteful. You know, it's nice to do that. And this is so exciting. We're off on, you know, our journey was going one way, and now we're on a different journey. Like we were on a boat trip. Now we're on a camel ride through the desert. It is so thrilling. And thanks everybody for coming along with us.
Yeah. And reach out if you have any suggestions, but don't project onto me.
Yes. Please send us an email at ladyjourneypodcast@gmail.com, and please leave us a review on iTunes. I am still sending out, if you leave a review and then send us an email proving that you left the review, I will send you a spell kit. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.